What if I told you that the heaviest thing you're carrying right now isn't even yours? Think about that for a second. Right now, in this very moment, you're holding on to something. Maybe it's words someone spoke over you when you were too young to know they were lies. Maybe it's a door that closed so violently it shattered something inside you. Maybe it's a version of yourself you built to survive that's now suffocating the person you were meant to become. And here's what breaks my heart. You've been carrying it for so long you think it's part of you. But I need you to hear something that might change everything. The universe has been whispering to you. Through every breakdown, through every moment you couldn't sleep, through every time you felt like you were drowning in a room full of people. That wasn't punishment. That was an invitation. An invitation to finally put it down. Because here's the truth nobody wants to tell you. Healing isn't comfortable. It's not pretty. It doesn't fit in an Instagram post with a sunset background. Healing is messy and raw. And some days it feels like you're falling apart when you're actually falling together. Let me tell you a story. There was once a craftsman who discovered a mirror that had been shattered into 1,000 pieces. Most people walked past it, saw the broken glass, and kept moving. But this craftsman, he saw something different. He spent months carefully gathering every single piece, not to glue them back the way they were. That was impossible, but to create something new, a mosaic. And when he was done, that mirror reflected light in ways the original never could. The cracks didn't make it weaker. They made it luminous. You are that mirror. And I know you've spent years thinking your brokenness disqualified you, that your scars made you unworthy, that your story was too messy for anything beautiful to grow from it. But what if those cracks are exactly where the light gets in? What if your healing isn't about going back to who you were before you broke, but becoming who you're meant to be? Because you broke? But here's where it gets real. You can't heal while you're still drinking the poison. I'm talking to the person who keeps texting the ex who destroyed them, convincing yourself this time will be different. I'm talking to the one scrolling through everyone else's highlight reel at 2 a.m., using their success to confirm your failure. I'm talking to the one who knows exactly what's draining them, the job, the friendship, the habit, the thought pattern, and keeps choosing it anyway because familiar pain feels safer than unknown peace. You're not healing, you're coping. And there's a universe of difference between the two. Coping is survival mode. It's numbing out. It's making it through another day without falling apart. And listen, sometimes that's exactly where you need to be. Sometimes just surviving is the bravest thing you can do. But healing? Healing is when you stop running from the pain and turn around to face it. When you finally say, "You've had power over me for long enough. Today, I take it back." There's an old story about a gardener who couldn't understand why nothing would grow in his garden. He had the best seeds, the richest soil, plenty of water and sunlight, but everything he planted withered and died. One day, a stranger walked by and asked him a simple question. What was here before? The gardener remembered. Years ago, this plot of land had been a dumping ground. Toxic waste, poison that had seeped deep into the earth. You can't grow new life, the stranger said, in soil that's still poisoned by what was. So the gardener spent an entire year not planting anything, just clearing, removing, detoxifying, layer by layer, handful by handful, extracting the poison that had been buried so deep, he'd forgotten it was there. And the next spring, His garden exploded with life. You are that garden, and I know you want to skip the clearing part. You want to plant new dreams, new relationships, new versions of yourself right now. But beautiful things can't grow in toxic soil. Not because you're not good enough, not because you don't deserve it, but because healing has a sequence, and skipping steps only delays your blooming. Let me ask you something that might hurt. How many times have you promised yourself, never again, only to find yourself right back there? Different person, same wound, different job, same disrespect, different city, same emptiness. You keep thinking the problem is outside of you, that if you could just find the right person, the right opportunity, the right circumstances, then you'd finally feel whole. But here's what the universe keeps trying to show you through every repeated pattern. You're not attracting what you want. You're attracting what you are. And I don't mean that in some judgmental way. I mean it as a compass pointing you toward your work. If you keep meeting people who abandon you, there's a part of you that abandoned yourself first. If you keep ending up in situations where you're not valued, there's a part of you that doesn't believe you're valuable. If chaos keeps finding you, there's chaos you haven't resolved within you. The universe isn't punishing you with these patterns. It's giving you opportunities to heal the original wound. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a river. On one side is everything familiar. Your pain, your patterns, your identity built around what hurt you. It's heavy, it's suffocating, but it's known. On the other side is who you could become. Lighter, freer, aligned. But to get there, you have to cross. And the river is cold and deep, and you can't see the bottom. Most people spend their entire lives standing on that riverbank. They talk about crossing. They dream about crossing. They watch others cross and wonder why they can't. But when it comes time to actually step in, they turn back. Because the fear of drowning feels more real than the possibility of reaching the other side. But here's what I need you to understand. You're already drowning, right where you're standing. You're just drowning in slow motion, convincing yourself you're breathing because your head's above water. The river isn't the danger. Staying on the bank is. So let me give you something right now. Something you've been waiting for someone to say. You have permission to heal. You have permission to stop being strong for everyone else and fall apart for yourself. You have permission to close chapters, even if others wanted to keep reading. You have permission to outgrow the version of you that people fell in love with. You have permission to disappoint people who were never going to be satisfied anyway. You have permission to prioritize your peace over their comfort. You have permission to not have all the answers. You have permission to start over and over and over again until you get it right. Nobody's coming to rescue you, not because you're not worth rescuing, but because you're not something that needs rescuing. You're something that needs remembering. You're something that needs excavating from underneath all the layers you built to protect yourself from being hurt again. You know what a caterpillar does inside cocoon? It doesn't just grow wings and walk out. It completely dissolves. It becomes liquid. Also, its entire body breaks down into genetic soup before it can reconstruct itself as something new. Because that's what healing is. It's not gentle improvement. It's complete transformation. And it requires you to let everything you thought you were fall apart before you can discover what you actually are. You've been so afraid of falling apart. But what if falling apart is the most important thing you'll ever do? What if the person you're meant to become can only emerge from the ruins of who you've been? And here's why this matters more than you know. There are people in your future who need the healed version of you. A child who will learn what self-love looks like by watching you practice it. A friend who will find courage to leave their own toxic situation because you showed them it's possible. A stranger who will hear your story one day and realize they're not alone. But if you don't heal, if you keep passing down trauma instead of wisdom, pain instead of power, wounds instead of lessons, then the cycle continues. Your unhealed wounds don't just affect you. They ripple forward into every relationship, every decision, every moment of your future. You think you're just surviving today, but you're also creating the template for tomorrow. So here's your moment. Right now, wherever you are, in your car, in your room, on a walk, trying to clear your head, this is your moment. You can close this video and go back to the numbing, the scrolling, the pretending, the slow death of staying comfortable in your cage. Or you can decide, really decide, that you're done carrying weight that was never yours to hold. That you're done shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were too small for your spirit. That you're done waiting for perfect conditions to start becoming who you were meant to be. Healing starts with a choice. Just one. Not to have it all figured out. Not to never struggle again. But to stop abandoning yourself. To stop betraying your own knowing. To stop negotiating with your peace. And if something in this message moved you, if you felt that shift happen somewhere deep inside, I want you to do something with me. Come down to the comments and type 3 simple words. I choose healing. Not as a wish, not as someday, but as your declaration right now. Because when you say it out loud, when you claim it in front of others who are crossing the same river, something powerful happens. You stop being alone in your pain and become part of a community of people who decided enough was enough. And if you know someone who's standing at that riverbank, someone who's carrying weight that isn't theirs, someone who needs permission to finally put it down, share this with them. Let them know they're not alone. Ask them to declare it with us. I choose healing. Because healing isn't something you do in isolation. It's something we do together. Subscribe if you want to stay connected to this work. And if supporting through Super Thanks feels right, it directly fuels more content like this. But real talk, the fact that you're here, watching, listening, I don't take that for granted. Thank you. The universe isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to be ready. And I don't know your story. I don't know what broke you or how many times you've tried and failed and tried again. But I know you're still here, still breathing, still capable of beginning again. That's not coincidence. That's not luck. That's proof that your story isn't over for yet. So heal. Not for them. Not for what you'll achieve or who you'll become or how it'll look. Heal because you deserve to feel sunlight again. Heal because your soul is tired of wearing armor. Heal because the truest version of you is waiting on the other side of your courage. And when you do, when you finally put down what you were never meant to carry, you won't just change your life. You'll remember who you always were. Underneath everything that tried to bury you, the river is waiting. And you're stronger than you think. It's time to cross. Until next time. May you find the courage to choose yourself.